What's up, y'all? This video is going to showcase a recipe using the Instant Pot and two main ingredients, quinoa and lacinato kale, also known as dinosaur kale or Italian kale. Now, the first step for this recipe involves getting the quinoa ready, and technically it's optional, but I'm going to tell you guys like this. If you soak your quinoa, it will get rid of that earthy, kind of off-putting quinoa flavor that most people complain about. And to be honest with you, I never really liked quinoa until I started soaking it. But once you soak the quinoa and try it like this, you're gonna start doing it every time. I guarantee it. It's worth it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill up 3 of these cups, and we're gonna soak this amount of quinoa for 30 minutes. My goal with most of these Instant Pot recipes is to make enough so that I have at least one leftover meal. So in this case, guys, I used 3 of these cups of quinoa, which amounts to approximately 2 1/4 measuring cups. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get this soaking for about 30 minutes. This is done soaking. Next step is to drain it and rinse it and then get it back into the Instant Pot. So I would recommend you use a colander of some sort. Go ahead and get this drained and rinsed. The next step is to add in the proper amount of water to cook this quinoa, which is going to be 3 of these cups. Because we are also going to be steaming this lacinato kale in the Instant Pot, I am going to add a small amount of water just to compensate for the steaming of the vegetables. This is about an extra 1/4 cup of water. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio if you soak the quinoa, and then about a 1/4 cup of water for the vegetables on top of that. To prepare the lacinato kale, you're not gonna try to take the stems out. No. What you're gonna do is you're gonna cut it in really fine chunks all the way to the top. And that way it's gonna create a lot of little bite-sized pieces of kale, because the parts that are difficult to chew in the stem run the length of it. So if you cut it into little pieces, then you will find it to be much easier to chew. You can see what I'm talking about here. I've got a bunch of it, about half of it cut up so far. And we're gonna go ahead and show you guys how small we're talking. Finely cut, it could even be finer cut than this. But remember, it is going in the Instant Pot, so it's gonna get cooked all the way. But this is how I do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss this half in the Instant Pot and cut the rest of this up right now and get it all in. That one bundle of organic kale, which probably cost 90 cents because they sell it by the pound, ended up chopping up and making a ton of kale that's gonna go in here. But as you guys know, this is gonna cook down and become a very small amount once it's cooked. So this is really the part of the recipe where you guys can be a little more lenient with the ingredients and spice it the way that you like it, but I'm gonna show you guys how I do it in the next step. This ain't Instagram, guys. This is how I eat on a regular basis. I did find this pasta marinara sauce at Aldi on the cheap tip, and no fat, no added oils. So this is something that, even though it has a lot of salt, you can add this, but I'm actually gonna add this after it finishes cooking. I'm gonna stir this in afterwards. And the spices that I'm gonna use on this dish is the mushrooms. I got some curry leaves, and this right here is a bunch of fresh ginger and turmeric and white ginger that I chopped up. I keep that stuff in my freezer so it's ready to go. You can just add powdered spices or whatever you like, but this is what I'm gonna toss in here if I can get it in without spilling it all over the place. So let me go ahead and get the rest of it in there. And if you've never tried curry leaves, guys, this is something you can get at an Indian market. It's almost like the bay leaf of Indian cooking, only you can actually eat it once it's finished cooking. I gave that one good stir just to incorporate all of the ingredients, and I added salt and pepper to taste. So let's go ahead and get this in and show you guys the best part is the cook time is only 3 minutes. make sure your steam valve is sealed. This just finished. Let's go ahead and let the steam out. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Well, it looks like the kale is cooked thoroughly, and I believe we've got fluffy quinoa on the bottom. And I'm probably only going to use less than half of this, to be honest with you, because this is pretty high in salt. But let's go ahead and get some of that in there. See how much that. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, let's just go ahead and stir that right on in. So this is almost like a pasta, but using quinoa as a substitute, getting those veggies in there too. So one thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and cut this to off, because I don't want that to continue warming up and cooking the quinoa further. And I'm actually going to take the whole Instant Pot out, because I don't want it to overcook and make it too soft. So let me go ahead and pull it out, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Here it is, guys, the Instant Pot quinoa and lacinato kale mixed with some spices and mushrooms. This is just a quick staple, starchy staple, higher protein Instant Pot meal. And the reason why it works, guys, is because that lacinato kale and that soaked quinoa have the same cook time. You see what I'm doing there? Choosing items that have the same cook time, combining them in the Instant Pot, and using it to create a starchy staple dish that then this will be enough that I'm going to have plenty of leftovers, and I can enjoy it with other things like chickpeas that come out of the Instant Pot, bang up the protein a little higher. You know how it is. It's not a complete meal for me. I'd like to add something else to it, but you guys can take it in your own direction. All right, y'all know what time it is. Red Pill Vegan next.